In this video, we are talking the brand new Toontown. Already having problems with this fountain, getting a little soggy over there in Toontown. We're also going to talk about interactive elements in theme parks in general. Good idea, bad idea. We're also going to have an update for you guys on the Fast and Furious roller coaster, rumored or not rumored, pretty much happening at Universal Studios Hollywood. An update on that from our good friend Theme Park Wizard up next at OG55. Welcome aboard to another episode of OG55. We're talking Toontown Fountain. We're talking Fast and Furious Coaster. We're talking interactive elements in theme parks, all of it. But before we do that, of course, I have to introduce my fantastic producer, Mr. VashSky, host of the Freshly Squeezed show here on the channel. Dre, welcome back, sir.
Sorry about that. Phone's ringing right there.
Busy man on the phone with Dre.
Yeah, I know. It's Theme Park Wizard himself, so might be an update there. I might need to check that. But hey, I am glad to be here. It's been a very interesting day. Day 2 of Toontown Watch, and oh man, there have been some controversies. What would you say, OG? Bubbling, maybe. It's been very, very interesting. So I am so excited to get into it. Hey, guys, if you want to go ahead and follow me, you can go do so right down there at VashSky. Just go ahead, type that in. It should pop up for all the, as Christine Way-Sense McCarthy would say, for all the
robust
discussion right there. And if you want to go ahead and see me, well, you can go ahead and subscribe right now at OrangeGrove55. The video that you're watching, the channel that you're watching. Go ahead and subscribe where you can find all kinds of great content, including some Orange Nerd by the guy to my left right here, and the original OrangeGrove55. We got some great stuff with Citrus Corner with our good, dear friend, George. Jay, Story Geeks. We just had an amazing Mandalorian episode 3, season 3 discussion that was really, really good. And of course, my own show on there, Freshly Squeezed, your source for juice, news, and info, squeezed fresh, right from the Grove. Let's see if I have something here. Oh yes, there we go.
You may dispense with the pleasantries, Commander.
All right, fine. Okay, we'll get to it then. OG, maybe you could start us off here on all things Toontown Fountain.
All things Toontown Fountain. So Toontown has opened, and I got to say, the past couple days, very crowded. We'll get into that, but beyond that, there's been some issues. Now, we've been very, very bullish on this renovation, mostly positive, but the fountain seems to be having some issues. So I'm gonna go ahead and share your screen, Dre, and we'll dive right in.
Sure. Yeah. So this is the fountain, the glorious fountain, as it's supposed to be, right? I believe there was a Disney Parks blog post actually posted in November of 2021 that said, hey, this is a great new colorful kinetic fountain, right, that had a lot of kind of interactive play features to it, but it was a place that kids could interact with and splish and splash with the water themselves. That will be a key point in a moment. However, there's going to be a dazzling LED light show at night. And this was posted, like I said, back in November of 2021. So, long time ago. It's very interesting because the first day that this was open, and to be fair, it was a soft opening, well, this fountain wasn't actually on. Now, I will say, OG, I think we all kind of agree on this. One night doesn't necessarily write the story. Today is the actual official opening, so are we thinking that these LEDs are going to be probably activated and on and doing their thing tonight?
Yeah, I think so. I'm not too concerned about the LEDs. I have other concerns with this fountain, but the LEDs I don't believe are one of them. I think we're good to go tonight. Absolutely. That's my prediction. I'm probably gonna have to eat crow, but I'm sticking with it. What about you, sir?
Yeah, I think I'm sticking with it as well because, lights are lights. They were working in this shot. From what I understand, they were working a few hours before I think the official check-in for the media event, which was I think about 7 a.m. that morning. So I think that's when this shot was actually taken. And I think it was working all the way up until like noon or so, pretty deep within that media event. Because I remember, I think OG, you actually sent me a photo where the lights were actually on during the day, so
Right.
they have functioned clearly, and we can see them right here. I don't think it's too much of an issue to actually get them functioning tonight, but hey, we will see. The bigger concern, however, is not the lights, which we will probably see tonight. It's how this has been closed off for large swaths of, well, this land's new existence here. So let me see if I can. Oh, there you go. You can see in this shot right here. I believe this is the one taken by Mice Chat this morning. Oh no, not Mice Chat actually. Mouse Info. I do apologize. Over there, the great Mouse Info crew, who I have done work with for several years actually, in the past. They are absolutely phenomenal. Great stuff. Great people. But they took this photo here, and well, this was in the morning, and I was a little bit, let's say, disheartened by it because, well, you can see there's no kids there. Why there's no kids there? Maybe you can make it out, maybe you can't, but there's roped off. And it is, from what we understand, has been roped off the entire morning, and now going into about 3 p.m., it is still roped off as of last update.
Yeah, no, 100%. And Bell of WDW&T mentioned last night that I guess they were having some pH problems. She took a picture of the tech, I guess, taking samples of the water.
Yeah.
So it does appear there's some credibility to that report from Bell of those pH levels. Now, I'm not a chemist. I'm no expert in pH levels. I don't know how long those kind of things take to balance out. I have no idea. That appears to be the leading reason right now as to why it's closed. But we also have a lot of water around this fountain. I know, Dre, you mentioned that you saw some of the cast members sort of mopping up, indicating that maybe this thing is spraying a little more than was anticipated. So that could be an element involved in all of this as well.
I actually have that video here for you too. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen just for a second here so I can share another screen which may actually have that. Let's see if I can go ahead and do that. And then it is right here. So this is actually via Mice Chat this time. Sorry, not Mouse Info. Hey, you know what? There's a lot of there's a lot of mice in this whole big Disney World here, so I do apologize sincerely. But this was recorded by Dusty Sage, editor-in-chief at Mice Chat, and this was actually during the media event. This was just after Kim Potrock actually finished up his opening day speech and festivities. Opening celebration for this new land, and so this is still pretty early in the day. I wanted to go ahead and note a couple of things here. For one, I have it on this frame for a reason. Don't worry, we're getting back to the fountain just for a second. I just want to point this out real quickly. You see the distance between the pink tree there and the what is it? The Pluto's Grocers, I believe it is. The edge there. You can see it's pretty tight. As we'll see in some later stories today, that has been a pinch point, let's say. And I kind of worry about, I don't worry necessarily about Toontown. I think it'll be okay. They seem to be going along pretty well, but I do worry about the connective path between Toontown and Galaxy's Edge and what that means right here, because that might be a problem area, but something to look out for in future updates. Anyway, I want to go ahead and play it right here. Let's see if I can skip to it here. There we go. And you can see there in the bottom right of the frame, you can see somebody mopping right there. So, and it's...
And you can see from... go back just a little bit, just a scotch. and go ahead and pause it. Okay, pause right there. You can see that lower, okay, on the right-hand side, right? The fountain closest to the ground. It's really bubbling up. I mean, it's spilling over the edge of that barrier. I mean, this is really, I don't know if they look, this might be an easy fix, to be honest. I mean, if they lower the water pressure or whatever, the volume of the water coming out, they lower that a little bit so it's not coming out as heavy, you might be able to mitigate some of that spillover. It looks like they're overfilling it, in my opinion. Is that kind of what you're seeing, Dre, a little bit? Where
I'm seeing that for sure. I think that's one of the issues, is a little bit of overfill. Also, too, the strength at which these nozzles are and the flow of the overall fountain itself is going. It is spraying water a lot. I think this was at its worst point. They might have calmed it down a little bit after this, but it's still an absolute problem. I mean, this area is still drenched. It's still soaked, and that's not good if you're going to have little kids running around it and so forth. It could get very, let's say, problematic very quickly here. But because of that flow and because of these nozzles shooting out in all these kind of directions, I mean, it was described to me earlier in the day like water like rain droplets hitting the ground. I mean, it was pretty thick in that way, and so that's not sustainable as far as I'm concerned. I mean, because you're already gonna get this area maybe a little damp from the splashing that would take place with kids. It's starting out wet. That can only lead to trouble. So I think, and I mentioned it in the last video, I think operationally, I think this is going to be a huge concern. And now you're seeing that, well, it still hasn't opened ever since it's kind of first day of soft opening where kids could actually play in it. So I think this is a particular area of concern here. We do have some updates though for that because you wanted me to look into it and go, hey, has this open? Has this not? Well, we have a very good friend of the channel, Bob Pritchard, who is actually there, and he has a YouTube channel of his own, Barry Place 28, where he's going to start live streaming there. Very, very good friends with Theme Park Casual, by the way, who is also a very, very good friend of the channel. But Bob over there, he's been helping out Theme Park Casual on his channel for a long time now, and I know they're going to do some collabos and stuff like that, so please, if you can, go ahead, subscribe to Barry Place 28, subscribe to Theme Park Casual. These guys are phenomenal, but Bob, he was a real hero today, so he gave you a little bit of update on what was going on and what he saw. The fountain has not been accessible all day. It's been roped off with 1 or 2 cast members guarding it. It's really sad since today is the official grand opening day for Toontown. A little bit later, he sent me these messages. The fountain is still not completely working. 1 cast member is still walking around the fountain, acting very bored, I might add. You can see water bouncing to the ground. It looks like raindrops. I think it's the extra splashing from the fountains being so close to the edges, to your point, OG. That's what he has seen with his own eyes. And it may be a pH balance issue. But the cast member told the guests that when it opens, people should be able to splash in the water. Seems like they didn't prepare for that, however. So the fountain is still not working as of 1:48 p.m. It is about 3, so pretty confident to say probably not working still. He also sent me some pictures here, which let's see if I can actually present to you guys at home. Let me see right there. Oh, right there. So yeah, it's still closed, and it's still very damp, and it's going to be raining today. So it's just a big issue. And I think you're right. I mean, the lower platforms and basin of this fountain, the what is it, the well walls, or however you want to go ahead and describe that, the walls retaining that water are just too shallow, right? They don't provide, I think, enough depth in their construction in order to kind of prevent this water from splashing over, spilling out, and all of that. It's kind of a big problem here.
Yeah. And we have a source we call Dude Trust Me Bro. And this source was saying at the end of the day, they believe that they'll sort it out. They'll figure out the right levels and they'll get everything sorted out. It's just a shame that we couldn't get that on opening day. And apparently the rainstorms here in California delayed the construction, which also delayed a lot of the test and adjust, where they could have sorted all that out before opening. Well, with all those delays because of the weather, well,
they had to open
couldn't do that
right then.
So
yeah. I remember, and I can tell you they were behind. I remember being in a portion of Toontown when it was open for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, and I'm seeing like earth movers right next to me. And this was only days before it was actually supposed to open. So, like, you know, they were they were really behind the eight ball. And yeah, I mean, there just was not a test and adjust period in order to kind of figure this stuff out. The water levels, I think, and the water flow, I should say, both those I think can be fixed fairly easily. My big concern is those pH levels right there, because that might be a much more difficult task, depending on what it actually is, right? So I think we were discussing back and forth, OG, that if it was that specific issue, probably there was a probe or sensor or something like that kind of went off, and that's why the technician, right, came in, tested the waters themselves, and then maybe went back someplace or whatever. Look, I mean, I want to believe there is some kind of inline water, I don't know, conditioner or some kind of apparatus. Let's say, like, I think I was looking this stuff up online here. There's kind of like an inline liquid control system that maybe included pH level detection and calibration, right, or pH measurement. I want to say that's the case. I hope that is the case, because, you know, if that's not the case, or if there are sensors that are bad or whatever, this might be down longer than we might like. And maybe it might not be an easy fix, depending on how let's say, problematic this ends up being, and maybe they failed to install something or whatever. I mean, they had to have known that this was going to be interacted with kids. From what I understand, as you interact with it, the pH level changes. So it has to be constantly measured and constantly adjusted. OG, on this front, optimistic, not optimistic?
Well, yeah, I here's the thing. They definitely have sensors because they knew there was a problem. So they definitely have sensors in place. So there were definitely alarm bells going off. That's what triggered the gentleman to go out there and test the water. So they definitely have something in place that's monitoring this. But is that sensor system or whatever it is it working properly? I don't know. Maybe not. We'll have to see. I mean, if it's just to replace a part or something, yeah, I think they'll do it. I mean, I think that they'll make moves and make that happen. Now, that could mean the fountain might be down for a few days or even a few weeks, you know, for all we know. But I think optimistically, yes, I do believe if that's the case, they will get it fixed. My only concern, my only worry is that Toontown has a history of this kind of thing. We have the Jolly Trolley, which they closed it down and it sat empty for years and years and years. I guess I have a little PTSD when it comes to Toontown and things shutting down. And that's why I'm concerned. I think that my logical brain is telling me, yeah, they'll work it out. Our source is telling us, yeah, they'll work it out. I'm just like skittish because like we've been here before and I'm a little nervous. So we'll see.
Well, and I think rightfully so. And this is no small issue. I know we just spent 20 minutes on a fountain, but here's the thing, guys. Here's what you have to consider. I mean, they largely, I think they got rid of those two adjacent fountains that were here, right? And the Mickey fountain and the White Rabbit fountain, largely because it may have not contrasted well with the art style of this specific fountain. So, and I'm sure there were more reasons to it, but they tore those down so that this can be their kind of centerpiece to this entire land. And this was hyped up for years by the Imagineers. And hey, it's the first thing that you see when you actually enter here. This was a big kind of thing here, and there's no getting around it. It's not like in a corner or something. You're walking around this thing all the time. It would be tragic if this thing was just going to be constantly roped off for the rest of its life here. So we're all kind of like, uh-oh, like this is kind of a big deal here. The lights aren't working the first day, and now not only was it roped off that day, but it's continued to be roped off, and now we have issues that may require some tweaking, and it might require this thing to be down for an extended period of time or changed in such a manner that it's not necessarily consistent with maybe the original principle of how this thing was supposed to go. So, you know, I'm a little worried myself. I know, Do Trust Me Bro was telling us how, and we were having this discussion, OG, how like operations, right? Sometimes they're not, you know, in the room or meeting necessarily with WDI and their projects. You know, there's not a lot of meeting of the minds. It's just WDI delivers a product and operations is somehow supposed to maintain it and operate it for the rest of its life. And sometimes those things conflict, right? There are issues that prevent these things from actually going well here. In fact, look, if any of y'all are interested, there is a fantastic interview with Jim Scholl he was an Imagineer for a long time, but also did some work for Universal and so forth. He's a pretty famous guy, especially on Twitter. I think we've talked about him before in the past, OG. Well, he just did an interview with Walt Disney World News Today, Tom Corliss, and they had a sit-down interview going over the history of Toontown and how Jim himself contributed to the overall project back in the late 80s, early 1990s. It was a fascinating interview, but in one of those stories that he tells, he talks about how the Chippendale treehouse, right? Just a fantastic structure. I mean, it's not a real tree, it's a fake tree. But it was all, hand carved, custom designed. All those leaves were unbelievably expensive to produce, which is why it was perpetually in fall, even though everything else around it was in different seasons, right? You can't have too many of those leaves. So that's the theming there. But he talks about the slide, right? And he talks about how, yeah, well, when you do these projects, you go to a park and you go to the park with the lawyer, and it's like, okay, can we do this? Can we not do this? Right? And the lawyer says, ooh, can't do that. Or he says, yes, you can do that. And then you develop the project. He has to okay or not okay it. Then you actually put it in the park and it says yes or no. And then you think you're good, and Ops says, nope, can't do it. And it's just, there's no meeting of the minds there throughout this entire development process. So much so that with that Chippendale treehouse, as beautiful as it was, it has a slide going down it, right? And at first it was like, oh, slide's got to be covered. Can't have an uncovered slide because now kids will jump out. So, all right, going to have a covered slide. Well, kids start to embed themselves in the slide, and the incoming kid doesn't realize it, slides down, hits them, not good, right? So it's like, okay, well, we got to uncover the slide. Well, now kids start jumping out. And now it's like, you know what? Do away with the slide. That's how we get a staircase, and that's why that tree changed, let's say, from its original intent to nothing. Heard a very similar story with the ball pit, similar story with Goofy's bounce house. And it's just like, come on, guys. Can't we meet in the middle here? If we have a fountain here and we want to have an interactive feature, we have to make it so that it can be, operated and maintained to the degree that it was originally envisioned, and that can be sustainable. It's ridiculous how there is no meeting of the minds here. And Do Trust Me Bro was saying, yeah, in the 90s when Paul Pressler was actually made president of Disneyland Resort, he was instructed by Michael Eisner, hey, look, listen, you have to kind of reevaluate this relationship here. The creatives can't drive the operation in the manner that we had been under before. Really, the operation should be driving the creative, right? They have to fulfill the operational needs of these parks. And so that relationship was changed. Maybe, as our source says, maybe too much one way. But hey, that relationship did change for a while, up until Paul Pressler retired, Michael Eisner retired, and now we're back to the same old story. And it's kind of unfortunate because it's in the same land, too.
Yeah, I think it's an issue. Like, this is the thing that's really frustrating, I think, with Imagineering and the ops, right? Imagineering is hell bent on this constant kind of focus on interactivity in the parks. We've seen this for really decades, and honestly, I've never been a big fan of it. I think it leads
Yeah.
to problems, like we're seeing
Yeah.
here. We've
Yep.
seen multiple instances, like in the Indiana Jones queue with the bamboo pole.
Yep.
Constantly problematic. It's still not working. A lot of these interactive elements, what happens is that they get a lot of wear and tear. They break down, and then the company doesn't go back and really fix it. So it's like basically like flushing money down the toilet. This was one of the elements of this Toontown remodel I was hoping was going to go to the wayside. They were going to get kind of minimize this interactivity, and it doesn't seem like they did. And this fountain is an interactive fountain. It's meant to interact with it. And again, here we are with interactivity not working properly and causing problems. And look, to be fair, and I know people get funny, but like, it's important to put some context. This isn't just, it's an industry-wide problem right now. And Universal has had their share of it too. So I just want to bring that up because it isn't just the Imagineers necessarily being focused on this. It seems like a lot of these companies want this interactivity. It breaks down. Why do these companies want to create these elements that are constantly being banged on and used all day long by guests that break down, and it's a costly expense to fix it? I really don't understand that. And it seems like, and look, we got another example here from friend of the channel, Haston. This is the brand new slides in Toontown. It's already missing one of the rollers.
Yep.
It's like, how many examples of why interactivity is not a good thing in theme parks do we need before they stop doing it? I'm kind of like, come on, Imagineering. You know, look, there's a million things you can do with Toontown to make it interactive in other ways. I think these little grassy knolls with the fake grass, encouraging people to sit down with their families and spend that quality time, that's interactivity done right. You can't break fake grass. That's fine. It's gonna, and look, it's worked out great for them. People are utilizing these spaces. They've even monetized it with the cute little picnic baskets. Oh, it's been perfect for everyone all around, for Disney and the guests. That's how you do interactivity. But when you have gimmicky stuff like this, and you got gimmicky stuff like the fountain, it leads to problems. And we've seen it over and over and over again. And it's frustrating.
I can't deny it is very frustrating. It is extremely frustrating. And you know, it's weird because like the slot, you know, what is it, slides or whatever, I mean, that's been tested in, I don't know, parks nationwide. Why is that breaking down like that? That's a weird one. That's a very strange kind of thing. And I know last night there was a cast member stationed. All their job was to stop people from using this pair of slides. The other kind of wavy slide was fine, but not this one. I was kind of theorizing with my family. Is that speed related? What is that going? You know, what is that all about right there? Well, I don't know. And if it was one slat to the side like this, well, why would you have to why would you have to not use both of them? Doesn't quite make sense to me. But now the next day, now people can get a clear picture here. The slat is missing, and now people are only going to be using one side of the slide. So out of the 3 slides that are available, you're down to, what, 2/3 capacity? It's kind of like the Tower of Terror elevators, right? Not very good. Nobody likes that. I want all the elevators working. But to your point, I think there is a place for interactivity in the parks. I do. And I think a good example of interactivity done right is like Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, for example, right? Now, I was very, very unsure of this attraction. Like, I was very kind of like scared of it because like initially when hearing the concept, because you know, you're going to have like, you know, controls, buttons, dials, you know, all this kind of stuff, switches, knobs. And I was like, oh, how well is this going to hold up? How well is this going to do, you know, in a theme park setting when you have like 60,000 people on it a day? Okay, that's a little bit exaggerated. Maybe like 20. Yeah, you know, maybe, what's the hourly capacity for that? I don't know, 20, 30,000 people on it per day. Let's just go with that. That's a lot, right? So you have to ensure that this stuff doesn't actually break down. So I was like, oh man, I can just see a button breaking here, button breaking there. This thing's not working. Now how do you win the game and all that kind of stuff, right? But the Imagineers came out and said, hey, you know what? We got aeronautical grade switches, knobs, buttons, levers, good for like 1 billion clicks or whatever. You go at it with your heart's content. We are confident in the product we produce, and to be fair, that's using like a grade in order to test the resistance or the holdup for some of these parts, right? Which, by the way, are kind of factory tested and so forth. Like they have years and years of use, and they're very established in the industry, and they implemented that for Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. And just in case that didn't work, there are 2 places in which you can actually hit buttons at the appropriate time at all times for Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. So it's like, oh, okay, cool. Like we got it. We got something that works. It's great. No problems. And Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run has been very consistent in its uptime. And I think I've only encountered like one time where a switch, wasn't lighting up or whatever, but it still worked. It's fine. It's tested. It's cool. We're good. Why don't you then have that same philosophy when it comes to some of the stuff that you're actually implementing in these parks? I don't know, maybe like a fountain, or maybe like a slide, or any of these other things that people are going to be, like really kind of grabbing on, yanking on, doing all this kind of stuff. This stuff's got to hold up. It has to be sustainable. Why, WDI, do you put your ups into this position all the time?
Yeah, no, I know. And the interactivity, it's a very tricky thing. You have to like with Millennium Falcon, they did it right. Military grade machinery, all good. But if it's anything short of that, it's probably not gonna, And like I said, we're seeing it even in Super Nintendo world, and it's just like you have to spend the money to do it right when you have thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people touching and banging and moving these things. You need to have this stuff, Look, this is only the first day, and the slide's already broken.
I know.
Now, who knows? To be fair, it could have been a kid who was pulling on it. You just don't know. But at the end of the day, though, it still shouldn't. Even if that is the case, it still shouldn't have broke like it did. And you have cast members watching, so I doubt that was it.
Yeah, you have cast members watching everything, which is very, very interesting. We'll see how long that lasts. But yeah, you do have, it's and I think the majority of effects here will hold up, right? A lot of it's like kind of like play equipment that you see at like a national, like a park, right? In your or in urban landscape or something like that. Right. It should hold up. It shouldn't be cheap. I think it will be okay for the majority. But it's interesting. One of the areas that I'm kind of worried about is Goofy's house. Goofy's house got a lot of kinetic going on there. You got like the Rube Goldberg machine. It looks great. It looks awesome. Please maintain that. Ops, please maintain that. And there were some good decisions that were actually made there, right? Like, for example, I was reading some stories on Mickey's Toontown, and one of them was that they actually dampened some of the equipment, right? That is used to pressurize, and these kind of pneumatic cylinders that would shoot off these balls in various areas. They dampened all that equipment so that the maybe sensory susceptible, or what do you want to call that? Sensitive children wouldn't be let's say triggered, or it wouldn't affect their ears, and it would be a comfortable place for them to play, whether you did have those sensory issues. So that's great. That is fantastic. That's awesome. Let's hope that machinery actually stays as working as it does, because it would be a shame to go back to, Toontown of what do you want to say, 1999, 2001 era, where a lot of that stuff dies and is dead. I hope that's not the case, but we will see. I think the land has some other issues right now that are kind of fascinating. For one, it is crowded. So we got a couple of posts here on this. Steps Magic is one of them. And it is crowded over here, OG. What do you think about this?
It's interesting. Yeah, no, I mean, it's actually, I got to be honest. Look, I make no bones about it. I love Disney, right? And I'm bullish on Disney, and I'm optimistic with a lot of their stuff. Like, I'm not whatever, but I really, with this, I wasn't expecting these kind of crowds. You're talking about a land that the big draw of the new land is the ride, but the ride's been working for a while. Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway has been open for a while. So it's like, I'm kind of surprised that all these, like the refresh is attracting this many people. It's, I don't know. I mean, it's good for Disney, absolutely. But I'm a little shocked that it has this kind of demand, to be quite honest with you. But what do you think?
These pictures that you're seeing right here come from Guy Selga. Yeah, I'm actually very surprised. This thing is like really dense. I mean, this is something. Now it's a 3-acre land. I mean, it is small, but holy cow, I did not imagine everybody to be descending on this thing at once. It's pretty insane right here. I mean, this is pretty thick. And we actually played a video last time when we did the discussion on Toontown. We saw that it was a little bit tight, but these photos today from the official opening, I mean, they're kind of dreadful conditions, to be fair. And some of these areas are only good for like 2 to 12-year-olds. So this is something right here. By the way, OG, did you want to get into the Guy Selga?
Yeah, you can play Guy Selga. We love Guy Selga. We love Guy Selga, by the way. He's a friend of the channel, and he's a really good guy, and he's a wealth of information. He's a real big Disneyland guy.
Oh, absolutely. He does, what is it? Work for the Unofficial Guide on touring plans, I believe.
Touring plans, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And he says here, Super Nintendo World is so small and crowded. Disney would never do this. Obviously, he's being tongue-in-cheek, got a little snarky.
Right.
Now, I have a question though. We're going to dive into this because I think even though he was kind of joking in this tweet, but I think actually the general concept of what he's trying to say here actually is an interesting conversation to have.
Sure.
So you're saying Toontown's 3 acres.
Yes.
Do we know how many acres Nintendo World is?
A little over 1, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so that's out the gate, not exactly the same situation. I mean, you're talking double the space here,
Yes, double the space. Yep, exactly. Yeah. So yes, but remember, small but mighty. You have to consider. I don't know what side of the argument I'm going to take this on. I think I have an answer, but I'll just explain to you the things that you have to consider when it comes to Nintendo. Right? Nintendo is geared towards a little bit older, so it's not 2 to 12. It's a little bit more. What would you say, like 10 to 16, 17, somewhere in there?
I would say, yeah, like that kind of, I don't know, like that.
Teen tween.
Yeah, the High School Musical crowd, right?
Yeah, High School Musical crowd. There you go. Perfect, right? So it gets scared a little bit older. So that's a little bit. And so you do have the interactive elements, right, via the power band, which, by the way, only if you get them. and there are some things that you can do without, but most of the time you're gonna want that power band right there, and that gets you to the kind of the Bowser Jr. Challenge or whatever. So you have those things, right? You have the I think 2 meet and greets is what I was hearing, but you meet Luigi, Princess Peach, and Mario. There are some there's some talk that you might meet Koopa or Bowser at a certain point, but those are the meet and greets right there. You have one big ride, which is obviously Mario Kart, and you have one sit-down restaurant. Not exactly table service, but counter service, right? So comparing that to Mickey's Toontown, you have not 1, not 2, but 3 rides. 2 of them dark rides. One of them, an absolute, would you say E-ticket or strong D-ticket?
Which one are we referring to? Roger Rabbit?
Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway.
I would give it. Ooh, it's tough, man. I don't know.
Because it's right there, right?
It's right there. It's like a D+, like bordering an E, and I would probably give Cartoon Spin the same grade. Both of them are very well done. Obviously, I love both of these attractions, but I don't know. E-ticket for me is like a whole nother level. That's like Indiana Jones,
Right. It's like it's a whole class of its own, right? And we had to keep it there because the e-ticket should mean something. So I agree with you. Okay,
it's like right there though. I mean, they're teetering, but they're not quite.
Right, and that would be what, a similar grade that we would give Mario Kart. let's say?
Absolutely. I think that's
Okay.
exactly what I gave it, like a D plus ticket. Yeah.
Okay, so 1D plus, and then you have 2D plus here. You have a junior coaster, so A, B, something like that, right? And then you have you have two meet and greets, and those are kind of attractions in themselves, right? Mickey and Minnie, and you have walk around characters. Even if we go back to this DAPS chat right here, you can see Clearbell Cow and Goofy actually hanging out and actually walking amongst the crowd. We actually saw this on soft opening day, and they have maintained it here, even with these crowds. Pretty crazy. We don't necessarily see characters kind of walking around, interacting with people, getting into selfies and all that kind of stuff. So that's pretty cool, right? You have Goofy's house, which is a very interactive play area of its own, and no eating location, but you do have like a snack stand and the
Cafe Daisy.
quick service. Yeah, quick service. So a couple quick service locations. So what do you think, OG? I mean, they are very comparable, but they're different in substantial ways.
Here's the issue with, and I'm going to play a video from actually a content creator and after I follow this up, but it's only like a 20-second clip. But the issue that I think the difference is here is that what we have in Toontown, right, is what we have in Toontown is if you go into the land, everyone has access to all this stuff. You can go on Mickey and Minnie, you can go on the Chip and Dale coaster, you can eat at the restaurants, you can do all of it.
Yeah.
The problem with Nintendo World is if you don't have, and this might surprise my audience because everyone thinks I'm a hater, but I'm not.
I know, right?
But if you don't have one of these
power up band,
then you can't do the bulk of the stuff at Nintendo World. So you can do obviously Mario Kart, but you're not gonna be able to keep a score but you can still do the attraction, and you can do the Toad Cafe.
Sure.
But all those other games take the band and they're not cheap, right? Yeah. So you have a land that's half the size of Toontown, and honestly, unless you have the power band, a lot less to do. Now I'm gonna play real quick, and then Drew, I'll give you time to respond. I just want to play real quick this clip from they are called Travel Spree, and I guess they go around and they kind of review various theme park stuff, and I'm sure other travel stuff. Actually, I just found them recently, but I'm gonna play what they said, and I think this is an interesting kind of dynamic here. It's a short clip, and we'll talk about it on the other end.
Sure.
I gotta say, if you want to come visit Super Nintendo World in Hollywood, come super early in the morning and definitely don't come on a weekend.
If I had a choice, I probably would never come to like another grand opening or anything for a theme park, because the inaugural cruises are cool, but like theme park stuff,
it's a lot. There's definitely a lot of people here, like even more than I expected, and you have to wait in line for even like little things like that little like coin thing.
Yeah, the line for that wraps around. It goes all the way back there.
Just to spin that thing and scan your thing.
I mean,
yeah, that's an issue, because she's like saying, yeah, just to spin the thing and scan your thing. It's like there's all these lines in this land for something that's like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's not like the most impressive element in the world. So, yeah, I think that's an issue for Super Nintendo World. There's not a lot to do, and then the stuff that you can do, you're waiting in these huge lines for something that's kind of like this very minimal interactive thing. So that's just my opinion, but I thought that was an interesting clip because she kind of expresses it, in a very condensed, concise way.
Right, and there are lines at Toontown, obviously, but usually that's reserved for the 2 meet and greets and the 3 attractions, right? To wait for interactive elements, not good, especially when you paid $40 to actually engage in them, right? So it kind of compels you there. There is one line, however, that I want to go ahead and show because it reminded me of it, right? This line right here. See this line right here? That's forming around the wishing tree and then going back into the underneath the berm there to the entrance of Toontown.
I'm scared to ask.
That is for those picnic baskets. That is what that is there for. It is wild. So they sold out yesterday, and I think they reserved like quite a few of them for today, so that they would have them for the official opening day. But They are absolutely ridiculously popular. I mean, for $36, a little picnic bale and, the blanket and 3 snacks, not bad when you consider that, what are we doing? $45 for a popcorn bucket over there, Nintendo?
Yeah.
World?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's not a terrible price, and you get quite a bit of value out of it. But the funny thing about this whole popcorn bucket, like picnic thing, is Disney, and we've said it yesterday on yesterday's show, Disney was, whoever came up with this idea, deserves like a raise.
Magnum opus. No, check.
Right, exactly. They deserve all the promotions or whatever, because it's like, not only was it like, just perfect marketing for the new attraction, right? Sure. Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway, which is based around a Mickey short about picnics, but it plays perfectly to our Magic Key locals culture. Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, like, it's not tourists who are going to do this. It plays into the key holder locals who are going to pack snacks or whatever and go and chill on the grass. If you're coming from like Japan, you're not wasting your time sitting on the grass. You're getting on rides, So Disney's very smartly, smartly, is that even a word? I don't know. But hey, I'll go with it as,
intelligently, but I think smartly is a word.
Yeah, very, very smartly kind of tapped into that Magic Key culture, and it seems to be paying off. But that was one of the smartest things they've done with this new land, in my opinion, at least from just a monetary standpoint. I think it's going to continue to be pretty popular. But man, me personally, I wouldn't wait in that line.
I know, I personally agree with you. But I want the blanket. It's so cute, but it folds up into a little bag. It's great stuff. 10 out of 10 from the marketing and consumer products division. But I mean, okay, so I wouldn't wait in that either. But yeah, I mean, value for value, very, very interesting. Now,
and real quick, Drake, just before, I just want to say though, to be fair to Universal, Nintendo World is very much the foundation or seed planting, for example. Right. I made this argument with Avengers Campus, right? Where people were like, oh, well, Avengers Campus is sort of really lackluster in the final product we got. And I made the argument that's a seed planting thing, though, because now we can expand upon the Marvel stuff at DCA. So it's a net positive long term. Same goes for Nintendo and Universal. Yes, we have an acre and a half here with Mario, but that's going to grow. We have Theme Park Wizard, who, friend of the channel. By the way, check him out on YouTube. He's phenomenal. We love Wizard, but he's talking like Donkey Kong is coming here to California. So all of that and those expansions are gonna really plus this area out and give more capacity and more breathing room. And so I just wanted, before you went on, I just wanted to say that's a very important element of this whole equation, that this situation with Mario World right now is a very temporary thing. Probably won't be the case in a few years.
Yes, that is good to point out there. I think, between the two as they exist currently, gotta give the edge to Mickey's Toontown. I mean, the Power Up Band is super cool, and there's some amazing technology featured in Super Nintendo World. There is, and it's so impressive. And hey, maybe the maintenance will actually hold up a little bit better than this stuff, right?
I hope so.
Especially with that, Bowser Jr. or whatever, where, you have like a projection kind of thing and you don't actually interact with anything physically. And it just kind of happens all around you, even though there is some physicality to it. I think it will hold up just a little bit better. And there's so much kinetic and stuff like that too, which is great. But I'm going to have to give it to Mickey's Toontown. 3 attractions, and then 2 like meet and greets. Yes, they're meet and greets, but have you seen Mickey and Minnie's house? Mickey's house alone, Jim Scholl was talking about it, has 3,000 custom-made Toon props in there. 3,000! That's insane. He just talks about it as like, I was just drawing for weeks and weeks, months and months and months and months, and we were making all these props and in the various fabrication facilities that WDI had and stuff like that. And it was just coming all out one another. The quality imbued in this land. I mean, you got to give it to him for sure. But that I think changes with Donkey Kong, but we will see. I think it's a
Yeah.
very interesting debate between the two.
Yeah, Donkey Kong's going to be a game changer. And also, I do have to address, too, like, I really do want to be fair here. So Mickey's Toontown has been around longer, so it's had a longer time to kind of flesh it out. What, 30 years now or something?
Yeah.
30-something years?
Yeah, I mean,
So that's
I think
also a
too,
factor, you know?
Yeah. A huge factor. No
Yeah.
question. Would have been cool if this would have opened 30th anniversary. Rats. Just missed it. You know what to blame for that. But it would be, yeah. And look, that's nothing to take away from Super Nintendo World. It is actually a very strong land. It's a very good land. And
I had a lot of fun.
Oh my God. It's really good. It is a little bit small, however, and so when you have a bunch of people packed in there, it could be, you're waiting like, 4 hours for Mario Kart, and it's like, does like 1,000 an hour. Ooh, that's going to be a brutal wait. Oh, go ahead.
Well, and the fire alarm thing, it's coded as one building, the whole land. So every time the fire alarm goes off, they got to evac the whole land. And that was, I think, a design issue for sure.
Yeah, a huge design issue. A little bit more substantial than some of these individual effects maybe not working or holding up over time, right? I mean, when you have to evac a whole land like that, that's not good. However, you do have the fireworks that now you have to not evacuate, but clear out the various land, get them back in there. So it's a little bit of a complication every single day. However, a lot of kids go home. Everybody kind of. They exit that land naturally, so I don't think it's a huge thing, but it is something to consider between the two. The vibes from Mickey's Toontown is really cool as well. Like, that's a good vibe right there. Like I think you were saying, OG, like the community aspect of it and stuff like that. Like, it's really, really cool. I think they nailed that down really, really nicely. So we'll see. These lands, I'm sure, will develop in time.
Yeah, and I think that brings us to our next topic, which is actually, speaking of Universal, we're talking, or unless you have something else you want to talk about in terms of.
No, I think
maybe
we're good. Well, share my screen real fast. Show this.
Yeah,
absolutely. This new little green space area,
yeah.
stroller parking. Come on, what is going on, Disney? I knew they were going to do this too, because I'm looking around at Mickey's Toontown, in videos, but I'll be there shortly. But Mickey's Toontown, I'm looking around, and I'm going, where's stroller parking? Where's that going to be? Because that's going to be a huge deal. You got 2 attractions, right? You got to put those strollers somewhere. Oh, 3. But also 2, you got the little ones. They're going to want to come back here. Probably going to pack stroller. Where are you going to put them? Well, there's your green space right there. So, hey, there is a vision that WDI has, right? And you can see that on opening day. And then there's a vision that Ops has, and they will implement it no matter what, and you'll see that for the rest of your life. So
I know. Good. You're right. You're right. And I really wish there was more communication, just to kind of circle back, but I really wish there was more communication between Imagineering and Ops in this creative process. That they have to these 2 groups have to meet in the middle somewhere along the way. And I feel like they're not, and that leads to problems. It's a shame, because this is like this fountain. I love this thing. Like, come on, get it get it working.
Comes to us by the Walker Chronicles. This video. This is the first video that we saw of night. This land is gorgeous, and this fountain, I'm sure, is just breathtaking at night.
Yeah, we'll see. Just got to get that sorted out. And hopefully they can get that splashing under control and those pH levels. It's crazy, man. It's like whenever you go to I don't know, people who have like fish or whatever, like saltwater fish, it takes like a while to get the salt levels and everything in the tank right. I guess this is like that. They gotta, But the problem too is now you're having kids playing in it and altering that pH level the whole day long. So you have to constantly adjust.
You have to constantly adjust and calibrate. Hopefully they built it in the system. We'll see, though. We saw testing. Now it's roped off. We'll see. This image right here that you're seeing on screen, this is right by the wishing tree. Remember, we were kind of wondering, why did they go with the spongy material? Why didn't they go with grass and so forth? It's these hills. Yes, I didn't see the different grade that this had in those initial photographs. But there's a steep grade here, and it's like hilly and stuff like that. It's technically a play area, so I think that's why they went with the spongy material. Because, well, I mean, if you're going up these kind of changes in elevation or grade or terrain or whatever you want to call it, and you slip, well, you're gonna want a spongy surface, right? So that's why it's going. But man, just look at that.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Look at it. It's so good.
That's beautiful, and that's why people are like, it's kind of funny. People are giving Ordinary Adventures a lot of shit, okay, about his tweet about between the concept art and the tree, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna stand up for them a little bit on this. Like, look, I am one of the biggest critics of like fans sort of getting like mentally married to concept art and complaining and what have you. But
yes,
I think absolutely some fans go overboard with it. I think,
Mm-hmm.
And you can kind of go down that rabbit hole and get a little too, I do think though, in this case, the tree doesn't look good. And I don't mind if it doesn't match the art exactly. That's not really the issue. I don't think that's really the issue that he's having.
Yeah.
It's just really a letdown. And I just expected more, and I don't think it's wrong to acknowledge that, Yeah. And I don't think he's wrong to acknowledge that. And I don't know. But you know what? To each their own. If maybe people think it's ridiculous and whatever. But for the most part, Peter and Kitra are fantastic. And they're very pro Disney. I mean, they're not like negative Nancy's or anything. This is like one thing that he didn't like. It's not like, don't jump on the poor guy for it. I don't know.
No, I agree. I mean, and look, it's the thing about the tree, and we'll see it in this clip here. To be fair to it, it was transported, and it is a large growth tree, and so they had to trim back, let's say, and they're expecting it to kind of grow in, right? That's great and all, but it's all in theory. Let's see how horticultural actually does that. We can only judge by what is actually there and provided for us for opening day. And frankly, it's just a little bit of a letdown. That's all kind of we're saying right there. Could it blossom into something that was truly great? Yes. But I like to equate this to, let's say, California Adventure 1.0, right? Back when it opened on February 8th, I think, 2001. Yep. When it opened that day, they put in a lot of trees. They were all really small and they didn't provide much shade. And, so how are we supposed to judge a park that is basically a concrete wasteland and doesn't have shade? Well, people are going to be perturbed. They're going to be pissed. They're going to be very, very upset. Right. But that's all we have to go on. Hey, they can mature to great trees, and they have 20 plus years later. Right. And so hey, some of those areas are fantastic. The Redwood Creek area and all that, the Golden State. Oh my goodness gracious. That is some amazing stuff legitimately in that park, right? Took 20 years to get there. So we can only go by what's there available right now. And right now it's just not impressive. Sorry. That's just kind of how it is.
Yeah. And I can even okay, yeah, you're right. The tree is going to grow. My issue more than anything, and we talked about this last night, is a spongy material. And I understand they're doing it because of the elevated hillside. I don't know. A little unsightly. It
is. But look at this. Go ahead and share my screen real fast again. Look, this is the Huey, Dewey, and Louie and the portholes of Donald's boat right here. This is some great stuff. Can't really see this. Can't really make this out too well in the day, but at night really comes alive. And this whole land, takes on a very different aesthetic. And the Imagineers did a great job. Even the boundary trees are all lit up blue and everything. I mean, it's just gorgeous in here. And some of these effects, they're pretty great. That's
pretty cool. They got figures of Huey, Dewey, and Louie in there and stuff. I dig that. I like that. This is my first time really looking at this stuff, actually. This is cool. This is really cool.
This is cool. So, and just the hills and everything, and you can see those blue trees back there, just peeking out right there. It's really phenomenal at night. You can see the twinkle lights in the trees. It really did a pretty good job here. So anyway, that will conclude, I think, the Toontown discussion real fast.
Yep,
one more point.
I think the only way to end I just want to say the only way to end the Toontown section is with a great drop.
Nothing can stop us now.
There we go.
There you go. Yeah, for sure. I thought you were gonna play a track switch because we were switching subjects, right?
Oh, here we could do that. We could do that.
Okay.
Why not? We'll throw that one in for good measure as well.
Oh no! I must have hit that track switch.
There you
we
go.
go.
You did. And to the Temple of the Forbidden Doom is where you went because there was one thing I forgot. One thing I thought was important that they did forget. Yes, you're right. The what is it? The poll, right?
Oh,
the
yeah.
queue.
The little.
I thought they said that was working. I heard reports that it was working. Then I heard reports that it wasn't working. So to be determined until I can get there. But the audio from Sala as he welcomes you back into the station right after your perilous adventure, usually, or what was intended to happen was that line from Sala was supposed to line up with the room that you had entered in the start of the attraction. Right, there was 3 rooms: the Hall of the Future, the the Temple of Riches, and the Fountain of Youth, I think is what it was, right?
Yeah.
So, depending on which one that you actually went through, that's what Sala would greet you with. So, if you went to the Fountain of Youth, for example, Sala would say, if you drink too much from the Fountain of Youth, we'd be happy to assist you with strollers, okay? And then he has another line for each one, right? That lining up process didn't make the cut, so I wanted to include that because I was like, that was something I was personally disappointed I didn't get to mention on the last show. But without any further ado, should I give our good friend Wizard a call?
Let's give Wizard a call. Let's talk some Universal. This is our Universal expert, so we got to have Wizard on.
Gotta have Wizard on for sure. And we might just ask him about Nintendo World versus Mickey's Toontown as well. Ethan, you are on with OrangeGrove55.
Fresh from the grove.
Yes, you are, Wizard. Welcome on the show, brother.
Hey, the show? Hi.
Yes, you're on the show. Yes, sorry about that, Wizard.
Wow. No idea. Hello, show. How are you?
The show loves you, Wizard. We love having you on, and I know this is a little bit unorthodox, but hey, time management, I think it works out better. But in this case, otherwise, we'd have you on in a physical appearance. And don't worry, we will include your link in the description as well for you. But
Absolutely.
we want to talk about... Oh, go ahead.
Said you better.
Oh, we will. We will. Don't worry about it. I got you covered. But you had a scoop on the Fast and the Furious story. Could you please, the Fast and Furious roller coaster story at Universal Studios Hollywood, could you please inform our viewers what is actually going on there?
Oh, yes. So, I was at Universal today, and I always ask the Production Central team members when the store's going to close. And he said after spring break. I was like, okay, but then he kept talking. I didn't expect him to, but he kept talking. He's like, yeah, they had it already. They closed it January 8th. They're already to demolish it right away. But he said when they couldn't get the approvals, actually he said when they realized they couldn't demolish it right away, they decided to reopen the store as a discount store until they could demolish it. But just read as when they couldn't get the approvals approved, then they reopened the Production Central as a discount store until it gets approved. And then someone on the inside Universal forums posted the permit. Thank goodness. Coincidentally, when I was there, I saw they got the notification. And it looks like, let's scroll over here. Back in December 6th, they filed initially the permit to demolish the building 4431 and 4432, which are the two shows. And they're still there. They just haven't gotten approved yet. So they're still under new pending. And just still waiting. So a little bit of a delay there. But hopefully when they do it, hopefully Universal will make up time, as they're pretty good at when the actual construction process starts. Now, for now, we're looking for early April for it to be approved, hopefully,
Now,
Now,
according to the.
go ahead, OG.
oh, I'm sorry, Wizard. So are you saying that we're waiting for the approval to demolish the buildings that are there? That's what we're waiting on right now?
Yeah, because they put them back in December. December and January, and then let's see. Hold on. And then they can't really. I mean, they did some interior stuff. They can't like demolish exterior stuff until they get that LA County approval. And just in case your viewers didn't know, half of Universal Studios is in the city of LA. Half of it's in LA County. So therefore they use different addresses when they demolish things. So they're going the theme park part is in LA County. So that's why it's going county. The City Walk part and some of the back half of the steel is in LA City. So, but because of that, they use if you notice, they only use one address when they do Universal stuff because it's that way they only go to the county.
Gotcha. Okay.
I don't know which one's easier or not, but that's why they're doing that. But then, so they're looking to demolish, waiting for approval to demolish the building 4431, 4432 for project P409, which is the coaster project. They feel like they must be getting close because now they're hiring positions for the project. So, and they keep saying early April. So, I feel like that might be. I know the next. Usually they like meet once a month. The board of people, planning commission or whatever. So probably the early April one they'll approve it.
So the buildings. So the buildings that are looking to be demolished, we're talking about the Animal Stunt Show, the
special effects show, animal actors, and production essential.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And there was a delay in that process. You see, OG, this is what happens when you don't have full control over your complex, right? I mean, when you have to go to other people for approvals, well, these things happen. Do you think there will be any delays with this project going forward outside of this? I mean, this sounds like some bureaucratic regulatory issues, let's say, attached to this. Do you think they'll have problems maybe with the actual site plan itself for this Fast and Furious after demolition is complete?
I don't think so because they approved the geotechnical permit, which is the thing to see if it's even possible. So I just feel like it's the LA County slowness because it takes a while to build anything over there. So it's probably they're just being a little slow. But the rest of the project should be going pretty good when the construction stops. I mean, even with the Super Nintendo World, there's a few weeks at a time where you see nothing was really happening. It's probably because of a permit delay thing, because you have to keep filing permits throughout the whole thing. Then they like a lot will be happening, and then they really pick up the pace, and they'll kind of stop again. Each time is probably because of the shipping delays or permitting delays, or both. So I feel like the same thing would probably happen around here.
Okay. And just so everyone's aware, I'm sorry. What was that, sir?
I would say summer 2024. Still looking to be the opening date there.
Okay, and just so everyone at home, because we don't have as many Universal aficionados watching OG55. We got some. There's some overlap, but the concept that we're looking at is the Fast and Furious coaster coming to Universal Hollywood. You can see here it looks pretty intense. The ride vehicles are actually cars, and they kind of pivot around, very similar to like Cosmic Rewind. So it's going to be a pretty intense situation. I'm probably going to be too chicken shit to ride it, but we'll see. But hey, this is really, I think this is a smart move on Universal's part for a couple of reasons. Number one, it gives them a reason to get rid of Fast and Furious Supercharged. Thank God, right? I think we can all agree on that.
Ooh.
And this is a big property for Universal. This is a very big in-house IP for Universal. So I think that's good. And plus this area right here with the animal actors and the special effects and all that, nothing special, right? Visually or even like in terms of like the shows. I think this is a few notches up. They are definitely plussing this for sure. So I think it'll be good. Honestly, I think it'll be good. I think there's a market for this for Universal in terms of like, hey, you know, for the longest time, Universal has got Studios Hollywood has sort of been passed over in terms of like thrill seekers, you know. But now they got some coasters under their belt. They got the Mummy. They got this Fast and Furious thing. You know, it's starting to catch the eye, I think, of some thrill seekers. So that's a good thing as well. So it'll be very interesting. Very, very interesting.
And for your viewers out there, it seems like at least the animal actors will be coming back just in the plaza later this summer. So at least you go back. So you'll be okay.
Cool.
Yeah, because a lot of people like those animals.
I love those little animal actors. So cute.
Yeah. No, we're animal lovers here on OG55. I got two little doggies at home, and they are my everything. I love these little guys. So.
That's good because PETA might come for you.
The what? I'm sorry? What did he say?
That's good because PETA might come for you.
PETA.
Yeah. I know, right?
Oh, woo, man, they'll come after us for just about anything. Okay, so Ethan, we wanted to go ahead and get your opinion on this real fast. Because you are the Super Nintendo World expert, right? I mean, you have been in that land more than any of any of the people who have ever been on OG55 themselves combined. I mean, you're just so a wealth of knowledge when it comes to this land. What you're seeing from Mickey's Toontown, I know you haven't been there yet personally to see it all kind of completed. Comparing the two, now I know it's a little bit difficult because, you know, one is kind of geared towards 2 to 12, let's say, and then Super Nintendo World's geared towards, you know, tweens and teens kind of thing, right? But the two lands as they exist currently, I mean, which one are you thinking here?
Let's see. Yeah, Toontown. Oh boy, I like the new Goofy's house and the playground and the slides. My rainbow slides over there. And then, nice to have Roger Rabbit back. So yeah, it gives Toontown like 3 rides, which is pretty cool. And Mickey and Minnie's houses. I miss those houses so much. Kind of sad they use my favorite grassland for stroller parking, but I guess they have nowhere else to park them. But
those houses are open, by the way.
Yeah,
the house I love so great. I love those things. I like going the Steamboat Willie setting up. It's great.
Fantastic.
Mickey's house. The wishing tree, I guess will grow in, but I still think the fake roots on the ground should get a little bigger. But
agreed.
I mean, now you said it should because I was thinking fake grass there, but you said they didn't do that because there's an elevation change or something.
Yes,
so I guess
there's
sense.
like some hills. We searched a video earlier that really kind of expresses this, but there's some changes in elevation there that, hey, if you trip as a kid, you kind of want a soft landing there.
Now for Goofy's house, we used so the balls they keep moving on a mat. Like, you don't like press something and the ball comes, right? Or you press something.
The initial balls that come down are automatic, so they're from a beehive that's up there, and they're like balls of honey. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty fun little effect. And then once they actually come down to the ground level, that is where you actually interact with them on each separate station.
Okay. So is that the only interactivity?
No.
Besides just those
No, there's more. I mean, you got the slides there. You got the there's like this bridge that you walk over, and it makes like a little noise and sound and so forth. They've got some rudimentary recreational equipment as well. But you have like Huey, Dewey, and Louie and Webby on the hall, embedded in the hull of Donald's boat right there. You have the water play area. There are Let's see. There are the elements, the interactive elements that exist on the other side of Toontown in the more kind of urban area.
Yeah, I like
There you
those.
go.
I like those a lot. And it's nice to see Gadget on her own coaster, then to get the name sucked out of her.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Dale.
Yeah.
Little give and take. And the fountain, uh, it's roped off, right? But it's not
Yeah.
for long.
It's
It looked good. Hopefully when I go, it's not roped off, but see it or interactive with it. Um, but so yeah, I think it's a massive improvement for Toontown.
Hmm.
But for Super Nintendo World, wowee! Oh, so interactive. Everything's moving. So many games. Gonna have to give the interactivity to Nintendo because wowee.
I'll agree with
I
you.
was in there today, and it was incredible. Um, Now Toontown, like, see, that I think it would have been a perfect. They knew Magic Bands were coming to Disneyland,
Mm-hmm.
and so they should have integrated, in my opinion, the Magic Band more with Toontown's interactive features, kind of
Yeah.
like the Power Band of Nintendo. Then
That's smart.
Toontown may have gotten a leg up, but
Chapek would
and I mean
love you.
the Toontown's only been Toontown's only been open. I mean, closed for a year, so they knew it was coming. They could have done something, but they did, and they could still maybe do it. They did. So it's a little sad, but I love the whole interactivity in the app and all that good stuff for Nintendo. I'm gonna have to give it over to Nintendo. Oh boy, go
There it is.
Mario!
Here we go. Hold on. I got to drop for that. I only have one Mario drop, but that's the only one I got. But it's Mario.
Oh yeah!
Now but you got 3 attractions versus 1, Ethan. So you do value the interactivity quite that to that scale, huh?
Yeah, I mean, because to me, the interactivity is the second attraction. You know, playing those games in the Bowser Jr. That's a nice second attraction to me. And also the other two rides were there, so it's not like new to me. You know, and I love Roger Rabbit. I love Gadget's Go-Go, but they're already there. It's not like new ride or something. It's only new thing is Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway and the interactive element. You know, so.
That's fair.
To me, there's 3 photo rides, but 1 new one. So, and I mean,
sorry.
the
Well,
coaster's short, and I like so really. I mean, I really barely ride the coaster because at capacity because it's short. It's just for kids.
Right.
But I love Roger Rabbit. I missed me some Roger Rabbit and Mickey and Minnie's. I love Mickey and Minnie's, but yeah, I'm really like comparing new to new instead of old to what was there is new.
Very true.
Still gonna give it to Nintendo.
Now, Wizard, I wanted to ask you before we go. I wanted to ask you the crowding in Toontown is pretty insane the past couple days. Now it is the first day. I mean, it's just opened. Do you think that this is something that will continue in this land, or is it just the Magic Keys and the vloggers basically going for day one?
I don't think it's gonna be as crowded. Even just next weekend.
Interesting.
It might be crowded, but I don't think it'll be as crowded. And because like you guys said, the new stuff is mostly for like children, and there might be some families, children there. But I feel like there's besides Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway and maybe some diehard Disney fans. Nothing to keep them coming back to Toontown like over and over and over and over and over. Unless someone's 40 years old wants to run on the bridge, I don't blame them. I'll run on the bridge. But I feel like again, if there's like Magic Band games or something or interact things, that would keep me coming back. I have Magic Band. I go to Toontown over and over to get those Magic Band achievements or something. I don't know. But I feel like there's nothing, unless you want to meet Mickey or something, there's really nothing to keep coming back over and over. Besides the typical people who are going to go ride Roger Rabbit or Mickey and Minnie's before it closed. So I feel it'll be like just as busy as before the renovation. Yeah. Which is not bad. It's not like it was bad. It was great.
Well, Wizard, I want to thank you for coming on, joining us via phone right now. I appreciate you, brother. Everyone at home, check out Theme Park Wizard on YouTube. He does phenomenal work. He does all theme parks. He covers Disney. He covers a lot of Universal. He's been on top of all the Epic Universe stuff. Check him out. Subscribe to him. We'll link him down below in the description. He's also got a merch store as well. He's friend of the channel.
Forget, I will rip you off.
There you go. There you go.
That's it. That's it, Ethan. And was there anything else that you wanted to include in here in terms of your social media or anything else?
Let's see. You can follow me on Twitter at ParkWizard1. Wizard without the D. Make the D a 1.
There you go.
Exactly. That was because of old Elon, right?
I am altering the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further.
Right.
That's it. That's it. You got you, Wizard. He got you.
There you go. Okay.
But Wizard, you got you. But Wizard, it's always a pleasure, brother. We'll have you on again very soon. And take it easy, okay?
All right. Have a fantastic day.
Have a good one, brother. Bye-bye now. Mr. Theme Park Wizard, everybody. Mr. Theme Park Wizard.
Oh, yes. Well, we got to do it. We got to do it proper.
There we go. So
there you go.
Interesting stuff from Theme Park Wizard about like the permitting and all that for the Fast and Furious coaster. It doesn't sound like it's going to cause any significant delays. It's just typical LA County red tape drama BS or whatever, you know. So
right.
And he has a good point too that Universal's pretty quick with building. Go ahead, Dre.
Well, it was nice to get an update on the project anyway. You know,
exactly,
where are they at right now in development? Probably going to be demolition. So if you want to see your favorite facades, go now. You know, it's not going to be there for very long. But yeah, I mean, look, it's like you said, OG, pretty minor standard stuff. But hey, you know, there's a huge backlog. I know at some of these cities, obviously because of the pandemic and otherwise and stuff, and it is slowing some of these things down. So it's always good to kind of keep an eye on things. Looks like it's going to be on time, but well, we'll see, right? Mickey's Toontown, let's say, wasn't on time. Pushed back a couple days because of the rain. So anything could happen for sure.
Well, we also don't know, because this is from what Wizard was saying, this is pushed back for the demo. Well, what's going to happen when they start to file those permits for the construction? Because you have an outdoor coaster. Are there going to be sound issues? Are there going to be visual issues with the residents around? Is that going to be a whole nother can of worms? We just don't know.
It can be, and that's why I kind of asked him. I was like, "Oh, do you think they're gonna approve this?" Not. He's pretty confident, but I don't know, man. L.A. County, they march to the drum of their own beat. March to the beat of their own drum. There you go.
There you go.
Got that tongue tied there. I do apologize, but hey, we'll see, right? Yeah, so, I think that just about does it for today's show.
That covers it. Dre, I want to thank you so much for coming on today, brother. I want to thank everybody at home for watching. Comment down below. Check out Wizard's links, his merch, and his channel and everything. He's phenomenal, especially with the Universal stuff. But Dre, if you can let everybody at home know where they can find you on social media.
The best place to find me is going to be at VashSky on Twitter. It's right down there. Let's y'all got to type that into the Twitter search or whatever, and it should pop up for, as Christine Wastelands McCarthy would say, for all the robust discussion right there. It's interesting too because, man, we really haven't heard from Christine Wastelands McCarthy, have we? Very interesting. But we have heard from a lot of the people around her, so that's going to be fun to watch too, and we'll keep you updated here. Well, that goes into the other place you can find me, OrangeGrove55. We cover people like Christine Wastelands McCarthy and others in Sweet, right? With the one and only OrangeGrove55 here to my left right there. We do that also on Orange Nerd. Talk about everything entertainment, including what's going on with Warner Bros. Discovery at the moment, right? With this Shazam 2. Ooh, man, that is... Well, we'll just leave it there. If you want to cover, if you want to stay up to date with everything Walt Disney World, we have a show for that as well. Citrus Corner with our Butter George. And if you want to keep up with the Mandalorian and the other stories that impact our lives, well, that's going to be Story Geeks with Jay. We just did a wonderful video on the Mandalorian, episode 3, season 3, right? Which was pretty great. I think you guys will get a kick out of that. But you can also subscribe to the channel for my own show, Freshly Squeezed. Your source for juice, news, and info, squeezed fresh, right from the Grove.
Now, I have one request, Ray. Just one request before we go. Is there any way you can use the voice changer to say, "Look into my eyes"? Full blown Mara style.
Okay, let's see here. All right, I have kind of a Darth Vader type voice. I think that'll work for just our purposes. Might be a little bit robotic, but okay, here we go.
Look into my eyes.
What's the line there? What's the line? It's like it's look into my eyes. Your fate. What is the line? It's like
your
to
fate
the
now
gates
rest.
of doom.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well. Okay.
Look into my eyes. You now pass through the gates of doom.
Kind of thing,
fantastic.
Right? Pretty good.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, brother, for coming on. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, comment. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, have a wonderful, wonderful day.